Let's, before we jump into our little folklore unit, which is going to be our language arts virtual classroom assignments for the next couple weeks, or actually, I should say it's going to take over a month. Let's go over our Latin America project. Now, our Latin America project is going to take the place of your regular social studies classwork. You'll notice that I turned the eye off so that you can't see anything else in your social studies class right now, except for things that you've already done, as well as your Latin America project. So let me just show you. Oops. Let me show you where to find it in case you think I'm crazy and um, you haven't seen it. All right. And I've sent this to you in your email like 500 times as well. So lots of different places for you to find your Latin America project work. But in case you were wondering, you can click right here on this little book that says Latin America Project, and it's going to list all of the things that I'm about to show you as well. And like I said, I've put it in your email several times. So, Kaylee S., you are fantastic. You have already done your portion of what you were supposed to do last week. But mainly, I'm talking now to Ashley and Christian and Kaylee P. and Jeremy, if he were here, because TJ, you have done this part as well. So we have a Latin America project that we are sharing with a different school. So you are going to be working with kids from Saddle Ranch Elementary School or Saddle Ridge, whatever it is. Same place that you're doing your collaboration project. And you are going to be doing basically the same thing that you did for the Canada project, but you're kind of lucking out this time because instead of doing all three jobs, you're going to do only one of the jobs this time, and two of the kids from the other elementary school will do the other two jobs. So you have been placed into different groups by your countries. So you can scroll down here and see what country you've been assigned to. What you needed to do last week, and so some of you have a little bit of catching up to do, is to start a presentation. All you had to do was start a Google presentation and share it with your two group members. Okay, so I showed this the other day when I used TJ as an example. So TJ and Kaylee S., you guys can tune out for just a second. Sorry, and this also applies to Dakota because I haven't gotten yours either. But you need to create your Google presentation and share it with your two team members. Um, your group members are going to be emailing you either today or early this week, and you guys are going to figure out who is going to be the biographer, who's going to be the historian, and who's going to be the travel guide. TJ actually already contacted his group members, and TJ, they are cool with you being the travel guide, so that's awesome. The early bird gets the worm, TJ. Okay, so let me just show you if you are confused on how to start a Google presentation. I don't think you should be at this point in your online career, but just in case. Okay, you go to Create, Presentation. Oh, Ashley, you did. That's right. Sorry, you did. Okay. And I don't care which background you choose. Go through them all, find the one that you like, click OK. And then let's just pretend that my name is Dakota and my group is Chili. So now you have started a presentation. You have to share it with your two group members. And you're probably saying, well, I don't know their emails. It's really simple. When you start typing in a person's name, like I'm going to type in mine, their email comes up. So all you have to do is just click on them. Okay, so let's just say that myself and Kaylee S. were his group members, and then all you do is click save or share and save. That's it. So that's all you've had to do so far. Then, as a group, they're going to be emailing you to decide who is the biographer, who is, okay, sorry, let me go down here. Who is the biographer, who is the travel guide, and who is the historian? Okay. Okay, good. And Christian, it looks like you've already started yours. The main thing is to make sure that you share it with your 2 group members. So, are there any questions on the Latin America project? Okay. All right, because your group members from that other elementary school are expecting to see some kind of Google presentation in their email shared with them from you, because our school was the one who was supposed to start the Google presentation. So once you guys decide who is the biographer, who is the travel guide, and who is the historian, you can go to this link of resources, and you can use any other resources that you want as well. But here are a couple good websites that will help you get started with your research. Okay. All right, not going to take any more time on Latin America, but as you can see, I only have Argentina, I only have Brazil, and Mexico, and that's it. So I definitely need some other countries shared with me. Okay, switching gears. Alrighty, here we go. I have also shared with you the folklore website, and this is in your email as well. So it's pretty simple to just click on it and open it up, and you will go directly to this site that I've created. Folklore. Folklore is a type of literature that involves all of these different sorts of stories. So folklore includes folk tales, it includes myths, it includes fairy tales, fables, and tall tales. So I just want to go through, and you're going to see different examples of all of these different types. But I just want to quickly go through what each of these are. Oops. And then, sorry. See, that's what happens when you click on the word goblin, and you don't want to do that. Sorry. And then I will show you what we're doing for assignment number 1. So everybody type into the chat a happy face, thumbs up, whatever, if you're with me and you're caught up to where I'm at so far. Okay. All right, good. I just want to make sure that nobody's still hung up on Latin America and that I'm able to move forward. Okay. All right, so a folk tale is a story that people have told orally. That means a lot of times folk tales were never written down because these were before people could read or write. And so they would just tell a story. And they would explain why things are, why things are, because a lot of times they didn't have the science to understand. So let me give you an example. Back in the old days, people might not have understood why birds fly south for the winter. So they would make up a story or a folk tale to explain it. They didn't know the actual scientific reason for why they would fly south. So they would make up a fun story. So that's kind of what a folktale is. A myth or a legend. Any of you who have read Greek mythology have read a myth before, and you might not have even known it. But a lot of times, a myth will have some kind of hero or great character in it, and they do, things that are obviously are not uh, possible in real life. Like maybe they are, like think of Zeus from Greek mythology. I mean, he's a character who can do things that no real human being can actually do. Okay, our third type is a fairy tale, and this one is what you're probably most used to because, well, Disney comes up with a lot of fairy tales. Things like Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty, fairy tales. They have some kind of fantasy characters. A lot of times it's going to involve like a gnome or a dwarf, like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, for instance. So those are fairy tales. You've been read fairy tales your entire life. Okay, fable. A fable is slightly different. A fable is going to have some kind of animal or a plant or object that has a human quality. So, for instance, you'll have an animal who can talk like a human. The difference between a fable and some of these other types of stories is that it teaches you a lesson. So, you're going to actually learn something from it. A tall tale, and I think of Pecos Bill, or not Pecos Bill. Well, yes, Pecos Bill and Paul Bunyan are two really popular tall tales. The thing about tall tales is they use great exaggeration. So things are greatly exaggerated, obviously fictional. Okay, so that's just a quick overview of the different types. And now I will start showing you your assignments. All of you have been assigned a different folktale, myth, fairy tale, fable, or tall tale. So I'm going to click right here on group assignments. And you've all been put into these different groups. So let's just see who we have here today. Oops, did not mean to scroll down. Dakota, you've been assigned to Paul Bunyan. Let's see. Who do we have? TJ, you are in the Rooster and the Pearl group. Kaylee S. and Kaylee P., you've both been assigned to the Briar Rabbit story. And TJ, where are you? Oh, TJ, you're in the Rooster and the Pearl. And Christian, you've been assigned to the Bear Prince. And so have you, Ashley. Okay. And yes, I will share this link to this website with you again. I know it's in your email, but if you want, I'll share it with you again at the end of class. Okay? All right, so let's go through assignment number 1. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what you're going to be doing for assignment number 1, and then I'm going to show you my example. I'll do one with you. Okay? All right, for assignment number 1, your first step is to read the folktale, fable, legend, tall tale, or fairy tale that you've been assigned to. Give me a thumbs up if that's pretty easy and you're ready to move on. Yeah, step 1 is easy. Okay, and you're probably wondering too, when is this due? Next Monday during your virtual classroom. Okay, so that was step 1. All you have to do is read the one that you've been assigned. If you want to read all of them, that's totally fine, but you have to make sure that you read the one that you've been assigned to. Step 2, complete the sequence chart as a group. I have shared it with you. So in your email, if you are part of the Briar Rabbit group, I have shared a sequence chart with you called Briar Rabbit Sequence Chart. Okay, so that's what you're going to be filling out as a group. Group 1 or assignment number 1 is a group project. Assignment number 2 and 3 are individual projects, by the way. So in just a second, I will model how to do a sequence chart. Your third step is really fun. You're going to make a visual representation of the story. You're going to do a Wordle, and then you can find images off the internet, or you can draw a picture of whatever story you've been assigned to. Okay, give me a thumbs up if we're ready to do my example. Okay. Okay, good. I just want to make sure that we're ready to go on and see me do an example, but you understand where to find assignment number 1. Yes, you can, Christian. You can do a presentation for step number 3. That would be great. Anything that you would like to share with the group and it's visual will be cool. Okay, so let me do an example with you so that you kind of understand what it is that you're going to be doing this coming week. Okay, so I picked Pecos Bill, and this is an example of a tall tale. So we're going to do this one together. So what was step one? Step one was simple. Step one was just to read it. So let's do that. All right, do I have any volunteers to read this short first paragraph for me? Your microphones are on, so you can just say yes. Are we very shy today?
I guess I could read it.
That would be fantastic. Thank you.
Okay. Now, everyone in the West knows that the Pecos Bill could ride anything. No bronco could throw him. No, sir. Fact is, I only heard of Bill getting thrown once in his whole career as a cowboy. Yep, it was that time he was up Kansas way and he decided to ride him a tornado.
All right, very good. Okay, so far we've been introduced to our character, Pecos Bill. He was a bronco or a cowboy. Sorry, no bronco could throw him off. He was a cowboy, and he decided that he was gonna ride a tornado. You know what I've noticed so far about a tall tale? And you're gonna notice this in folk tales, fables, myths, and legends as well, is a lot of times they use um, different kind of language. So, for instance, this is written in kind of an old Western type of slang, and so you're not going to get like your normal proper English and whatnot, but they use the type of language from the time period and the place in which it was written. Okay, so I'm going to read the second paragraph because it's a longer one. Now, Bill wasn't going to ride just any tornado. No, ma'am. He waited for the biggest god darn tornado you ever saw. It was turning the sky black and green and roaring so loud it woke up the farmers all the way over in China. Well, Bill just grabbed that there tornado, pushed it to the ground, and jumped on its back. The tornado whipped and whirled and side winded and generally cussed its bad luck all the way down to Texas, tied the rivers into knots, flattened all the forests so bad that they had to rename one place the Staked Plains. But Bill just rode along calm like, giving an occasional jab with his spurs. Okay, so another thing that I've noticed about this tall tale is that it used exaggeration. People over in China would not be able to hear somebody. Well, okay, first of all, you can't ride a tornado anyway, but people over in China aren't going to be able to hear it. And then a tornado doesn't usually tie a river into knots, flatten every forest. That's an exaggeration as well. But here's an important key thing that all folklore does is it explains why something is the way it is. So they renamed one place the Staked Plains. Now, people back in the old days probably didn't understand why this particular part in Texas was so flat and had no trees or anything else. And so they would come up with a story like this one to explain why something is the way it is. Okay. Do I have a volunteer to read the third paragraph? Oh my goodness. Shy
I can
six
read again.
stars. Okay, go ahead.
Finally, the tornado decided it wasn't getting this cowboy off his back nohow, so it headed west California and just rained itself out. Made so much water it was washed out the Grand Canyon. That tornado was down to practically nothing when Bill finally fell off. He hit the ground so hard it sank below sea level. Folks call the spot Death Valley. Anyway, that's how the rodeo got started. Though though most cowboys stick to broncos these days.
Very good. So there again, it explained a natural phenomenon. It explained the Grand Canyon, and it also told us why there's a place called Death Valley. Now, those aren't the real reasons that we have the Grand Canyon, and this is not the real reason that the Death Valley in California is the way it is. But back in the old days, people would come up with tall tales and stories to explain things like that. And so it's kind of fun. And then it also explains how the rodeo got started. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, and Christian, don't worry, I will show you how to make a Wordle. I'll get to that when I get to that third step, okay? All right, so we have read our tall tale, and now if you look at, sorry, go back to my assignment. Why is it taking so long? All right, it's freezing. But our second step was to fill out our sequence chart. Okay, so we're going to do that together. So you'll notice that this one is called the Pecos Bill sequence chart. In your email, you have the sequence chart for the story that you've been assigned to. So this is a group project, and you're all going to add a couple details together. All right, what was the first thing that happened in the Pecos Bill story? We'll go back to it. What was the first thing that happened? Here's some people typing into the chat. Good, yes, Pecos Bill was a cowboy who could ride anything. Perfect. Pecos Bill is a character who is a cowboy and can ride anything. And Ashley added that he and everyone knew that he could ride anything. Perfect. Okay. Next. Good. Kaylee P's already told me what happened next. Next, he decided he would ride a tornado. Okay. Perfect. He would ride a tornado instead of a Bronco. Very nice. Okay, let's see if there's anything else we can add. Let's see. I'm getting some people typing into the chat. Yep, he waited for the biggest tornado. Perfect. And he rode it all the way down to Texas. Awesome. He waited for the biggest tornado and he rode it all the way down to Texas. Now, there was also an important detail about something that happened in Texas. So what happened in Texas? It flattened everything and they renamed a place the Staked Plains. Okay, so I think that's all part of this same idea. So the tornado flattened everything and made the Staked Plains of Texas. Perfect. Okay, yes, and it also tied the river into knots. Good. Flattened everything and tied the rivers into knots. Good job, Kaylee. Yes. Then, after it was in Texas, then what happened? Okay, so I'm looking at the third paragraph. What came next? The tornado headed, where did it head to? Good. Awesome. So I'm getting my answers into the chat. The tornado decided to head to California. California. And on its way, what did it do on its way? It carved out the Grand Canyon, and it did something else. So I'm waiting for some chat answers. Yep, and they're very good, Ashley. Okay, so it carved the Grand Canyon and made Death Valley. Perfect. Last, so let's look at that last section. Last, that's how the rodeo got started. Last, the rodeo came about, and most cowboys stick to Broncos instead of tornadoes. Look at how easy that was. Very simple. Then, as a group, we need to write a summary. So what do you need? You need to make sure that your group has a topic, sentence, just a couple details. Where am I going to get my details? From everything that I just wrote. And then one conclusion sentence. Okay, so that's only like one short paragraph. That's very easy. One paragraph. Okay. All right, give me a thumbs up if you're with me so far. That was step 2. Okay. And what's even easier about this project is this is a group project. So all of you can help write a summary. All of you will help write just a couple details of first, next, then, and last. It's very easy, but it's still good practice. Okay, so that's step 2. Let's go and look at what step 3 said to do. So step 3 is fun. Step 3 is the visual stuff. So at the bottom of your sequence chart, there's going to be tons of room. You can just, keep adding on right to the bottom of your sequence chart. And you're going to create a Wordle. So if you click right here on Wordle, it's only one paragraph, Kaylee. So it'll take you right to Wordle, and you click on Create. Everybody just speak up. What were some of the words that had to do with the Pecos Bill story? Obviously his name. Good. Kaylee S. said Broncos. Tornado. Perfect. Ride. Good. Death Valley. Perfect. These are all great examples straight from the story. Old West. We had Grand Canyon. And we had rodeo. Perfect. Okay, so then all you do is click on Go. And this is where it's kind of an individual thing. It takes a minute for it to generate. And then you will get to choose your own colors and the way that you want your words to appear. Okay, so yeah, see, it's taken forever, but whatever. Okay, so then you can choose whatever layout that you want. It's going really slow today, I'm sorry. Probably because we're running GoToMeeting at the same time. You can choose whatever font you want, and you can choose different colors. Surprisingly enough, though, this is actually kind of the colors I would have thought to use for the old Western type of story. I usually just take a screenshot. So to take a screenshot, you hold down Shift Command 4 and it will draw that square like you just saw me do, okay? That's probably the easiest way to get your Wordle onto the bottom of your sequence chart. Then you can, I'll go back to my example. So here's an example of a Wordle that I made a while ago. And then here's an example of a drawing. And I chose this one because it looks like I drew it, even though I really didn't. But you can draw one or you can just find a Google image. So let's just go to Google and let's say you want to find a picture of a tornado. It's pretty simple. You just go to Google, type in tornado, click on images, and then choose one that, oops, sorry, I don't know what happened there. Choose one that you like. Okay? All right, give me a thumbs up if that's pretty easy stuff. Not hard at all, but it's fun. And it's going to expose you to a different type of writing. You guys have been working a lot with like nonfiction this semester. So this is going to be kind of a nice break for you to read some kind of fun folklore type of stories. Um, I think, once you really start reading these different examples, you'll see what I mean when you're reading them and you can see the different types of language that they use, the different types of things that they explain, like why the Grand Canyon is the way it is. Um, it's just kind of fascinating to see what people in the old days used to come up with to explain why the world is the way it is. All right. So, are there any questions on your assignment for next Monday? Okay, good. You still have a little bit of work in your regular language arts class, but it's like I said, this is not a huge time commitment at all. And I'm going to leave you about 10 minutes early, and hopefully you're going to have a little bit of extra time to go and get started right now. And I'm going to share this website with you again. Okay, as you can see, all of you are already on there, but I'm just going to share it with you again just to make sure. 6th grade students. Okay, no excuses. It's there. It is in your email. As well as your sequence chart. And yes, it is graded. Um, Obviously, it's not a very long assignment, so it's not, a huge deal, but it is still part of what you're expected to do, definitely. All right, are there any more questions before I let you go today? Any questions on your Latin America project? Okay, all right. I'm getting a lot of no's. Okay, good. Bye, TJ. You're doing good. Dakota, what about you? Questions? Are you sure? Because you need to start your Latin America project like right now, and you have this new assignment for your folklore. Okay. All right, cool. All right, Christian, you're doing good. Bye, guys. Sounds good. Bye. Bye. Okay.